I've got to ask you this question. It feels a bit silly because obviously you and I are riffing with no script here, no pre-planned questions, but people always ask about a sales script, and there's so many different schools of thought there. What's your approach on it? Should we have a sales script? How much should we be scripted? What's your take?
Brian, you asked me earlier, right, that what makes a great salesperson? And at the end of the day, communication skills do matter. Scripts are great, but let's look at it this way. My nephew is right now doing a master's in acting, right? And he's got this massive script that he was reading just a few days back, sitting in my place in Houston. And I looked at it and I was like scared. But I also come from drama. You learn from a script, you practice out loud, and then you wow the world when you're on stage. Scripts are required in stage and acting because there is no chance of anything going wrong. The other actor is not going to say something that's going to be off script, so you know exactly what's going to happen. And now comes the moment of truth. That's not true in sales at all. The more you rely on scripts, the more likely you're going to trip yourself up. That look of utter stupidity that's going to come on your face when you suddenly get a question that you never felt could happen. The way I articulate to people about scripts is as follows. Step back for a second. Think about when you go to Barnes and Noble, you go to a bookstore, and when you look around those books, you're going to find something like 30 objections and how to handle them. 21 ways to do a cold call. Stay away from books like that. What you really should be doing is find a framework, a simple rule of thumb. I'll give you an example. Any religious book you pick up has got commandments or some broad rules, right? Get those rules, understand those rules. Sit and then think about, in that rules and in that framework, what are the typical objections and where do they fall? You'll be surprised to learn that there's only 5 or 6 variations max that you could get in life. And if you can figure those out, you will be able to handle any script, anything, any objection. So my argument, and just to answer your question very succinctly, is I hate scripts. I don't like to be dictated to because I know what's going to happen in sales. Scripts don't follow the line. I know people draw pictures of a sales circle and they say deal starts here, deal ends here. And when you show that to a real salesperson, the first thing he tells me is circle. Oh no, I'm on a zigzag. I go up the mountain, then I come back, then the guy says, nope, sorry, we need to go back 3 kilometers up to Mount Everest base camp. We have to do something there because there's a decision maker there. Now we go forward. Oh, oops, we just realized something. It's a back and forth, it's an up and down. It's not a full circle. So you need to be ready for a feedback loop. If that's the reality of sales, and the buyer-seller dance is one that people say that, salesperson should lead the dance. Here's a challenge with that. Leading is the wrong word. You never lead. You partner. You lead because you want the other person to know what you're going to do. But when you're partnering, you actually follow them. And that following cannot come from a script. It comes from a lucidity of knowing how to dance. It comes from lucidity of practice. And that's and honestly, if you're genuine, authentic, and open and caring, you will suddenly realize that customers will actually forgive you when you don't run across a script because they're also tired of cliches and scripts. They know when you're trying to close. They know that. And they know when they raise an objection because they're also taught to raise objections. But when you take it down a notch, you'll be surprised those objections actually change into innocent, simple queries. Because remember, your buyer doesn't trust you. Why should he trust you? He looks at you and sees another salesperson trying to sell to him. So calm it down, get off the script, be human, and watch your buyer mold himself to your style. It's an open style. It's a far more productive style. That's what I really believe in, Brian.
Yes. Ooh, in over 1,000 episodes, that is one of my favorite answers and insights and brilliance shared on the air, because I think that that's the really powerful thing. Deepak, listeners know part of the magic behind this show is that there's no pre-planned questions. I don't have any planned questions. You certainly have no idea what I'm going to ask you. And that's what makes these conversations so valuable, is we just, as two human beings with our own experiences and life lessons, we get to show up and share those things very transparently without that agenda. And I think it's so important that that follows us through in life, because when we have conversations with our friends, we don't have a script. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but we just have faith in ourselves to go there.
Go with the flow. Yep. Go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that.